July has been crazy. I can't, y'all. I was like messing with this ring and it like left my finger really red. Is anybody else here the person that eats something and then they're like, I need something sweet? Cause that's me. Hi. Hello. Welcome or welcome back to my witch obsession. And in today's pick a card, pick a deck, pick a crystal reading, we will be getting some messages, guidance, and predictions for you for Venus retrograde. Now, for those of you that don't know, Venus retrograde starts on the 22nd of this month, July, and then it will continue on until early September. I'm not sure which date it exactly ends, and it's in Leo, but the reason I wanted to do this reading is because me personally, I have a natal Venus retrograde, and I will flaunt it every time Venus retrograde comes around because it is that one time of it. It's like having a crock pot, okay? Like, you don't use it very often. It's just there, taking up space, sometimes causing problems. But that one time of year, you pull it out and you freaking love it. You know, it's just for the holidays. That's the best analogy. And if you get where that joke's from, you're an OG. But what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I understand this energy very intimately, I feel, and I feel like it could really provide some context and guidance for those of you who are lucky enough to not have a Venus retrograde in your natal chart. But, you know, I just kind of, like, wanted to get some help, especially if you're a Libra or Taurus, since those are ruled by Venus. But anyways, we have 4 piles here today. We have pile 1 with the Lua Tarot and this Angel Aura crystal. Then we have pile 2 with the 5 cent tarot and the amethyst crystal. We have pile 3 with the golden thread tarot and this citrine crystal. I don't know why I'm saying crystal. I just said points. And then we have pile 4 with the lovely Omens tarot and this rose quartz crystal. So yeah, if you've already chosen your pile, then, you know, see you at your reading. I hope you enjoy. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. Other than that, see you at your reading. See you at your reading. But if you like to sit and listen to me ramble for a little bit, then hi. Oh my gosh, you guys. I originally wasn't too sure if I was going to film today and have like a video up this Friday, because honestly this week has been so emotionally turbulent and it has been so much, but like deep down, like I knew that reading and like talking to you guys would make me feel so much better, because it always does, you know, it always puts me in a really good mood, makes me feel nice, you know. But you know, I'm not going to get too into the details about why it's been a turbulent week, because I feel like it can be a little bit like triggering and like sensitive. But if you are curious, I do have a ramble channel. It's linked down in the description box for those of you that care to listen. But basically, like, I just feel like I definitely do think with the new moon in Cancer coming up at the time of uploading this, and with the nodes leaving Taurus and Scorpio, and Venus retrograde starting, because the last time that I experienced like these horrific traumatic events that I'm kind of like nudging at here happened the last Venus retrograde. And I just feel like all of it just plays into the fact that a huge chapter of my life is getting wrapped up, a huge chapter that had like that involved so much shame, like self-shame, disappointment, like self-hatred and anger, is just like coming to an end. Because it truly feels like these past few days, like I've been like a lot of things, like a lot of shadows have been coming up. Like truly, I've never seen so many like dark subjects in my life, or I've never seen so many horrible things come up to the surface that I didn't even realize were as horrible as they were. I'm sure you can imagine what I'm talking about here, but like truly, like this past year has induced a lot of trauma and it has really hurt me. But at the same time, just like acknowledging that, like, or having this opportunity this past week to understand that I'm not defined by it, and that it in fact was trauma, and that it in fact was bad and that I never deserved it has been so emotionally liberating in ways that like really brings me to tears, because I seriously thought for a really long time that something was wrong with me, or that like I was just being crazy. And like it just makes me feel so much relief knowing that that's not what it is, or that I'm not crazy. And I knew I wanted to tell you guys about it. I literally knew, because I just feel like you guys like deserve to know, or I just really trust you guys. But I don't know, like I don't really know how to explain it, because it's just for a really long time I felt very unworthy, and for a really long time I felt like this shame and like this like feeling of like everybody else is like doing something more, or that I'm just like not as relevant, or like not as important, or something of that nature, you know, whatever comes to mind, any negative adjectives, I guess. And for a really long time I've been taking it out on myself, and or taking it out on like, you know, just like really unhealthy coping mechanisms, because I wasn't really sure of what I was coping with. But like now that the problem has sort of been like diagnosed, if you will, I just feel like really grateful, because I honestly feel like a version of myself that I thought I had lost, or was no longer achievable, or was tainted, is like achievable again. Like I feel like my peace is like possible again. And in a way that like truly means something to me, you know? In a way that like I put value in. Not like, oh, like I'm, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, like I feel like peace is objective, but at the same time, like when it's one of those things that it can also be very personalized, you know, obviously. But in my eyes, I just feel really grateful that I've had the opportunity to love myself and to show myself a lot of the care, because I feel like as of late I've been having a lot of emotional mood swings and things that like it's been getting me to like a huge stump. And honestly, like I'm proud of myself, because maybe like a month ago it wouldn't have been like that. Like I would not show myself this kind of compassion and this kind of patience. I would immediately just take it out on myself. If I'm gonna be quite honest with you guys, like I'm really self-destructive when it comes to my feelings, and there are times where I have just blatantly blamed myself, gotten mad at myself, like caused myself pain, just because I like get so frustrated and angry with myself, because I'm just so conditioned to believing that it's always my fault. But like as of late, I've been trying to implement so many different systems into my life, or a lot of new emotional knee-jerk reaction that's like, unless it has been directly stated to me, it's not my problem. You know, like if me regaining my peace, and you know what I mean, just like if like I don't know how to explain it. It's just like I'm done catering to people, or I'm done watering something that doesn't water me back. And most importantly, I'm tired of compromising my needs and my well-being in ways that have in the past honestly traumatized me, you know? And I feel this new sense of self-respect, and with it comes a little bit of anguish, because I honestly feel like I've hurt so many people along the way, because I was hurt. And now it's kind of hard to look at things clearly. But at the same time, it's just another case of like, unless it's directly stated to me, it shouldn't be my problem. Because at the end of the day, like, we just hurt people. You know, like, we get hurt. Sometimes things are just collateral damage. And I think the most liberating part of it is knowing that, like, if someone cared to bring it up to me and cared to tell me that I hurt them, I know I would do whatever I could to make them feel better and tell them that that was never my intention. So in a way, it just makes me feel like I'm moving about my life and being the change that I've wanted to so desperately see in such a long time. But I feel like it's a new beginning. I don't know if they're watching this, but there's this person on my Rambo channel that like comments, and their name starts with an E, and they're always commenting like their readings for me and just talking to me. And I just want to say like special shout out to them and this one other person that comments on my Rambo channel. Their name starts with an S. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate all of you, honestly. And I wasn't kidding when I was telling you guys how much I love you in the last video, because like truly, like you guys have helped me see so much. You guys, like every time you guys comment really nice things and stuff like that, I promise it doesn't go to waste. Like it is not like mindless, you know, like I really do take it to heart because I really care what you guys say, and knowing that you guys are here for me just really motivates me to keep going because I want to be here for you too. But yeah, and if any of you feel the same way in whatever context that you can deem this as relevant or resonates with you, just know that like the life that you want to live and the person that you want to be and the things that you want are a lot more possible than you think. And just know that like we don't have to be anything, we just have to be. I heard that in a video yesterday, and that just like, it really touched me because I finally felt that expectation lifted off of me and all that anguish I was talking about, because wow, like for once it's just fine to understand that existing is enough, you know? But yeah, that's all I have for today's ramble. Thank you so much for listening. Like I said, if you want to listen to me ramble more, I have a whole channel dedicated to that. Not to like push it on you, but like, you know, like I get a lot of comments that saying that you guys really enjoy the ramble, and I just want you to know, like if you want more of it, you know, there is more of it. Okay, see you at your reading. I love you. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the Angel Aura Crystal and the Lua Tarot, this is going to be your reading for, or just messages for your Venus retrograde coming up, or the Venus, you get what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Anyways, before we get into the tarot, I do have some decks here, and the first deck that I'm using is actually pretty special because, here it is, because I've actually had this deck for a really long time now, and I actually bought it during the last Venus retrograde, and ever since then, like I just haven't been drawn to it. But now that Venus retrograde, oh, I didn't even shuffle it right. Now that another Venus retrograde is here, like I just feel like it's time to bring her out again. No. Anyways, messages for Venus retrograde for pile 1. I'm just gonna pull one card because I just want to see what the deck has to say, because I've never used this deck, so I just want to, you know, see what it has to provide in terms of messages. Messages for pile 1 and Venus retrograde. Okay, let's take this one. We have Ace of Wands, ambition, and willpower. I definitely feel like you might be getting, like, I feel like Venus retrograde for you guys will be a hard reset in terms of things that make you passionate and what it is that you're motivated by. And I'm feeling like this will kind of uproot maybe some materialistic habits that you have developed over the course of time since the last Venus retrograde. And that's so relevant because obviously, like, you know, Venus rules money, love, and all things of that nature, you know, anything beautiful. So I just feel like maybe some of you guys will be, you know, thinking about how you, like, what motivates you in terms of the material world and what you deem as, like, worthwhile investing in, you know? It makes me think of, like, where do you guys want to put your money, you know? Where do you guys want to live, or what do you feel is beautiful? What's the aesthetic? What's the vibe, you know? And why exactly am I working so hard, you know? What in the material world motivates me to get the resources to achieve it, or what about the resources in general, you know? And I just feel like it's very important for you guys to take your time on this, because I feel like this is a huge time for you to not go and, like, you know, like spend money, or not that, but like, well, that, but, you know, it's just like not a time for you to kind of go out and, like, I feel like this is a good time. I don't know how to explain it because I'm not trying to say like don't do things or like don't do this and that, but I just feel like this is like a time where the focus won't be so much on that as opposed to a focus on your resources and how you want to beautify things, you know, kind of planning, you know, and kind of taking the time, the precious time, to reevaluate things around you that you have once deemed as beautiful or as like a vibe, you know? And I just feel like this is really important because it definitely seems as if though maybe some things in your life has lost its luster, or there are things in your life that once brought you joy but no longer. So I feel like this is a time to kind of remove things out of your life or things to kind of reconsider, you know? Like for example, like, oh, like you bought this really nice purse or you bought this really nice bed sheet or something of that nature, and you're like, oh, do I really want this anymore, you know? And keep in mind, like, with this energy, Venus retrograde, like, your perception of how you view things is askewed and a little bit, you know, like, thrown off. But I feel like that's why it's so important, because it helps you see things that you probably haven't seen before. And it will help you kind of pin down a dissatisfaction that you may have been feeling, you know? I don't believe that this will evoke new feelings or evoke things or like bring things up that were originally not there, but rather help you see things from a different angle that will help you see things that maybe for a while were leaving you dissatisfied and you didn't even realize, you know? Like, it'll take you to a whole new level of perception that will help you see things from like a new perspective that maybe before, like, you were like, oh, like, this is fine, this is a compromise, you know? And now it's kind of like, okay, like, is it really compromisable? Like, is this really appropriate, you know? And I just feel like that will really liberate you materially, because not only will it help you see faults and things that maybe you didn't even realize that were non-negotiable, but on top of that, it will help you crack down and create space for things that you want to manifest into your life and bring into your life that bring beauty, love, and abundance that maybe beforehand you really wanted but felt like you didn't have enough room for, or felt like it was unachievable, you know? And I feel like once Venus goes direct for you, it will be kind of this moment of like feeling really cleansed. And you know, pile one, I don't feel the need to lie to you. I do think that this will cause you a little bit of like, I don't know how to explain it. I think that the feelings will be quite different for everybody that will be experiencing this transit. But I think it's pretty safe to say that I feel like you guys will start to feel this sense of like, maybe I was wrong, or maybe this was not the vibe, you know, or like, is this really what I wanted, you know? And I just feel like it will come in the form of like an indecision and kind of like this doubt, as opposed to like this blatant feeling of anxiety and things like that, you know? I feel like at that point you guys should apply it in whatever way resonates for you, because all of you guys are very different in how you react to these kind of feelings. But I think it's pretty safe to say that, like, I'm just trying to say that I think that you guys will be feeling a lot of feelings of unsureness and doubt for things that maybe you were quite invested in beforehand. And I think that it's important that you don't attach too harshly to anything right now, pile one, simply because I just feel like it's not what you see, like, it's not what it seems, you know? So it's not even in a way of like it's meant to hurt you or make you feel some type of way or teach you a lesson, but rather so it's a time for you to kind of remain a little bit indifferent and keep your things at arm's length, because things are kind of coming up to the surface that reveal details that, once again, like I said, you probably haven't seen before. I'm gonna pull you a feather messenger card because I really want to see what this deck would have to say. I don't know. I haven't used this deck in a while, so I just thought it would be interesting to pull it out. Message for pile one and Venus retrograde. Message for pile one and Venus retrograde. Oh. We have white turkey. The power to heal the earth is within you. I honestly wonder if some of you guys will be getting like plants, or if you guys will be kind of reconnecting to earth. Maybe some of you guys will start to turn to more natural things for a sense of beauty. I feel like maybe some of you guys will try to go back out into nature or turn to more natural things in order to heal. So like, I feel like instead of like, you know, like taking pills or like, you know, medications and things like that, I feel like maybe some of you guys will implement more medicinal things in terms of like, you know, like herbs and, you know, like anything of that nature, you know, literally going out into nature, or, you know, turning to plants and turning to, you know, more natural organic things. You know, some of you guys could start committing to a more vegetarian diet, you know. It really can manifest differently in everyone, obviously, but I just think that like across the board you guys will be developing a new relationship with more natural things and things related to nature and earth. And I feel like this connection will definitely help you see things from a different perspective, and I feel like it kind of all plays into what I was saying in the beginning, because I feel like it will change how you feel about beauty and things that, you know, bring you joy and bring that Venusian energy into your life, you know. Just the sense of like, okay, it's time to, like, I don't know how to explain it. You know, when people like stop eating meat, and I'm not saying that this is what you guys are going to be going through, but like it's like just an example. You know, like people stop eating meat, or they stop, you know, like drinking, like consuming dairy, or people start like not doing this or stop doing that. And then once they like the biggest example I have is like my friends, like one of them stopped drinking so much soda, and I remember she was telling me how she started drinking soda again, and she, like, her body was physically rejecting it, you know? I feel like that's what it would be like for you. Like, you'll try something new, and I feel like it will just work for you so much better than previous things, to where once you start going back to those things, it will no longer work for you in the ways that it used to, because it doesn't serve you. It's not healthy for you. It was exploiting you. It was hurting you, you know? And in ways that you didn't even realize, you know? And I feel like that's such a beautiful message, because I feel like essentially what's going on here is that you will reach a more healthier way of living and a more realistic way of sustaining your energy and, you know, well-being. Let's pull a Moonology card before we get right into the tarot here. Actually, I have some tea leaf cards. I was going to pull those at the end, but I think I'm going to pull them right now, right after the Moonology, just because I don't want to, like, I want to do oracles all together. Card for pile 1 and Venus retrograde. Card for pile 1 and their Venus retrograde. Okay. We have emotions are running high with the supermoon. Yeah, I do feel like, I almost wonder if you guys have like major Venus placements, or if you guys have like a Venus that's in detriment. So you could have like a Virgo, Aries, or Scorpio Venus, or you could just have major Libra and or Taurus placements, especially maybe in the Mars. But pile 1, I think that all of these energies that I have expressed to you so far are definitely things that you have been feeling already, and, you know, at least at the time of watching this. But I just want to say, like, it's really important right now for you to nurture yourself in a healthy way. And it's really important for you right now to understand that you are doing everything correct, and that just because, like, this is such a good mess. Do not attach your values, do not attach your self-worth to material things, to things you covet, to things that are tangible in the material. Like, don't attach yourself to the material world. Don't attach yourself and your value to how much money you make, how much money you're spending, how many things you have, you know, like all of these things, you know, don't do it. And I know it's really easy to be like, oh, like, don't do it, you know, but like, as somebody that does that themselves, and as somebody that has struggled with that their entire life, just know that, like, that was probably taught to you, or that was probably something that you witnessed, you know, like as you were growing up, or just themes in your life that you noticed and you were especially sensitive to, and it wasn't catered to, you know. And, you know, not to say like I know you, or to be like, oh, like, you know, like your parent, you know, but I just feel like if that resonates with you, you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about here. And it's just inappropriate for you to attach yourself to things like that, because those things run old and they can get outdated, you know. Money can run out of date. Money is always changing. The amount of money in the world is always changing. We're always printing new money. We're always losing old money. And money is just always moving around. Rich people are always going poor, and poor people are always going rich. Money is ever changing, and it is a reflection of how we go about it, you know? And how we treat it and how we feel about it really plays into how we make it and how we attract it, you know? Because it's just like, I just feel like that's a very relevant message, because I do think that that is something that you guys have been thinking about as of late. Just know that, like, it's a lesson, you know, and it's things to kind of look at and see, like, how your relationship with money has changed, or any material thing, to be honest here. And I feel like once again with the Ace of Wands right here, it's just like this sense of like, why are you motivated, you know? And like why it's just time to admit to yourself why you want it or why you don't want it or why you have as much as you do, you know? Or, you know, any of that nature, you know? But in a more detached, more indifferent manner. Being a little bit more realistic and understand, like leaving your self-worth out of it, you know? I just feel like this Venus retrograde, it will be a beautiful time for you to go about these themes of finances and material things with your self-worth left out of the conversation, because your self-worth is static and it will never change the way all of these materialistic things that we have created do, you know? And I just want to say, like, with the emotions running high, your feelings are all valid and they are all feelings that just need to be processed and just need to leave your body. They have nothing to do with what's actually going on, and like, not like that, but like your feelings aren't a reflection of your worth or anything of that nature, you know? It doesn't reflect anything other than how you feel about it and what has happened to you and what you've been taught, you know? It's just, that's the best way to say it. Like, your feelings do not define you, okay? Let's also pull some tea leaf cards, like I said, because I just want to see like what else comes out here. Some cards for pile 1 and their Venus retrograde. Okay, I don't want to pull too many, so this should be good. You got 4. I'm excited for you, pile 1. We have Rose. Romance is in the air. I'm going to sprinkle them across them. Isn't that going to be so cute? I'll show you. We have Dogs. Getting together with friends. See what I mean? Like, I'm like, isn't that so cute? Oh, we can't see it. Hold on. Here. Put it right here. And then we have Dark Man. Dealings or relationship with a man of dark complexion or hair. So that could be related to this Rose card here. And Hills. Obstacles to overcome. Really important card here. But yeah, I just feel like your Venus retrograde is definitely going to be one that is a little bit volatile or a little bit hectic, and not in a bad way, but more so in a way that I think that it will really speed up your life, because I do feel as if though like you feel like your life has been a little bit stuck, or I feel like you feel like your direction or how you want to navigate these situations and themes that I've been mentioning in terms of like Venusian topics has been a little bit like hard to see clearly across, like I've been saying. And I feel like this retrograde is definitely going to kind of speed up the process. It makes me think of like what retinol does to your skin. I don't know why, but I keep thinking about this. Like, this is such a random analogy, but like it's that sense of like, you know, when you first start using retinol or anything of like that is like retinol, it speeds up the process in which your skin regenerates itself and like how it makes cells and things like that. I'm no like dermatologist, so like correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, one thing I do know is that when you start using it, your skin will start purging, and it's the sense of like it has to get worse in order for it to get better, not because like it was meant to get worse, but more so it's bringing out things that were hidden and unable to be like come to the surface for whatever reason. And so it's like it's bringing out things that were probably not serving you and things that are causing you a lot of, you know, impurities and pain, so that it can make way for better things, you know. And in this case, you know, like the context I provided, it makes way for cleaner skin, you know, smoother skin. But first, your skin has to purge and get rid of everything, you know. And I feel like this is what the Venus retrograde is going to help you do. It's going to help you purge things that have been causing you stress and anxiety, or just blatantly no longer serving you, you know. Super excited to see what comes out for your tarot, honestly. I'm just going to pull all the cards at once. Messages for Venus retrograde for pile 1. Messages for pile 1 for Venus retrograde. Okay. We have the Lovers. I see. We have the 3 of Coins. We have Judgment. We have 4 of Coins. And then we have the 2 of Coins. I feel like during this Venus retrograde, some of you guys will start making more money, but at the same time, you will start conserving more money. So as a result, I feel like the financial aspect of your life will start to really boost and it will become noticeably better and pretty fast too, you know? And I feel like you'll feel very driven to do more of it. You know, I feel like you'll feel very financially driven. And then on the bottom deck, we have strength. You could be a Leo rising. I feel like some of you guys maybe will be a Leo rising, or you know, you maybe just have Leo placements, and I feel like that's why this Venus retrograde will kind of, you know, affect you. You could also be an Aquarius, since that would be in like the 7th house, and we have all these romance themes here. But for some of you, I'm feeling like if you have like an ex that you have been expecting to hear back from, I feel like this is a very particular message. So obviously, like, take it however it resonates with you, because it can be a very sensitive message for some of you. But what I'm trying to say here is that I feel like with the 4 of coins, the Lover's card, and 2 of coins, I almost wonder if you'll hear back from somebody. It doesn't even have to be an ex, honestly. Or it could just be somebody that you were no longer associated with for a period of time. And I'm feeling like either that or just something of this theme of like really contemplating something as it comes up, you know? And I feel like for some of you guys, you may start to like date, or you may meet somebody, or just something of that nature, you know? Or I just feel like you guys will have like a fling or something with somebody, whatever the case may be here. And I do think that this is something that like it only happens if you're looking for it, or if you are craving it, you know? Just because I feel like it will be something that kind of teaches you something, or it will be something that kind of provides a lot of context and a lot of information that, once again, you otherwise would not have known, you know? It's just that purging process of bringing things up to the surface. And I do feel as if though the emotions are running high card, that's definitely what it's referencing, in the sense that like I feel like your feelings will get stimulated in a lot of ways that maybe you weren't aware of, because like a lot of things that you probably weren't used to will be coming up, you know? Like, for example, like if you aren't used to like talking to somebody in a romantic way, or if you aren't used to, you know, being in a relationship, or if you aren't used to whatever it may be, you know, things of that nature, I feel like these things will come up, or things that involve that will come up, and that will kind of stimulate you in ways that you probably aren't used to. And that's probably why it will create so much, you know, like excitement and a lot of friction in your life, you know? And I'm feeling as if though, like with the 4 of coins, I do think that that will be kind of I think that's the most important card here, because I feel like it kind of explains like how you may be feeling during this whole process. I feel like you guys will clam up a little bit, or I feel like you guys will be a little bit like, you will have specific aversions, or you'll be especially protective over yourself and your resources, everything of that nature, you know? And I feel like with the 3 of coins, you will be, with the number 3 here, you guys will probably be very wary of like third party energies here. And I feel like you guys will also be very wary of people that are a little bit too busy. Get what I'm saying with the 2 of coins here? I feel like the messages are so like, they could be all over the place, but I think the universal one that I'm picking up on here is that your life will pick up speed in the Venusian areas, like the Venusian aspects of your life. Like those areas will pick up speed. But I think it's pretty safe to say that across the board, you guys will be a little bit reluctant, or maybe you have been reluctant or a little bit hesitant. And, you know, not to say like this is how you feel, because, you know, some of you guys could be so down for it and you guys could be like jumping into it head first. But I also think that you guys will still very much understand when the time to protect yourself is appropriate, and when there is a time to kind of keep yourself in check, you know, and to not lose focus on things that originally mattered to you before the retrograde even started, you know, especially with the Ace of Wands, because I just feel like you guys will be putting a lot of value into things that you are passionate about, and things that, you know, will bring in that beauty into your life. I think I'm just going to sum up your reading, pile 1, by saying that your Venus retrograde will be bringing up themes of, like, it will be making you kind of recalibrate what it is that you desire in your relationships, in your finances, and in your home, and things that you deem as beautiful, you know? And kind of like taking off your rose-colored glasses and kind of making you see things for what they are and helping you realize that things are not the way that they are. And I do think that this will stimulate you emotionally, and I feel like a lot of emotions will be coming up to the surface, and I feel like these emotions will be the purging process, if you get what I'm saying here. And I'm feeling like this will be a deeply reflective and introspective time for you. And I'm, once again, all of this energy that I have expressed throughout the reading, I do feel as if though you guys have already been experiencing it. So if you haven't been, just know that I feel like you've been experiencing it to a much less severe degree, or whatever the case may be here. But I just think that you guys have already been dealing with it, and if you haven't, this probably won't be your pile. But we're at the end of the reading, so I think that you resonate with you. But some of you guys could also be meeting an old friend or meeting up with old friends here. I just feel like your social life will also pick up a lot of speed. Like, your life will just pick up a lot of speed. Do you get what I'm saying, pile 1? Or at least it will kind of make you realize things and kind of light a fire under your arse to kind of urge you to make changes in your life, and to kind of, change your perspective on things that maybe you thought were the vibe, but now you're kind of realizing, ooh, maybe it isn't, And I feel like this will be a very beautiful time where you kind of reconsider things, and to kind of put things right and make things right in terms of how you perceive them and how you want to feel and how you want to express that Venusian energy. So yeah, that's all I have for you, pile 1. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially since it's my first time doing a reading like this for you guys. Other than that, if you also would like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose the amethyst crystal and the 5-cent tarot, this is going to be messages for Venus retrograde. Or, I don't know how I'm going to phrase that question for any of the piles. I've just been winging it. But anyways, before we get into the tarot, I do have this one tarot deck. This one, and I've actually had it since, I've had it for a while, honestly. But I got it during the last Venus retrograde, and I just haven't been drawn towards it since. But now that Venus retrograde is back, now I'm like, oh, I like it. Not that I didn't like it before, but it feels relevant again. Messages for, or rather a card for pile 2's Venus retrograde. Card for, okay, this one wants to come out. We have the Lovers, alignment, and harmony. I do feel as if though this could be a romantic relationship. We'll see as we kind of progress forward. But I just feel like this Venus retrograde will kind of apply to almost all your, not even, literally all your relationships. And obviously for some of you, there could be a sort of emphasis on romantic ones. But, just take that however it resonates. And we'll also see as we get deeper into the reading here. But I'm feeling like, with the word alignment and harmony being here, the immediate first thing that came to mind was, if there's anything about current relationships that you have that stress you out or make you feel some sort of way, I'm feeling like those will be brought up to the surface. And not in a bad way of you guys will be going through a breakup or something like that. And if you guys do, it will not be out of your control, but rather so I just think that context in regards to your relationships with both yourself and other people will be provided. Because I'm feeling like a lot of you guys have been, there's just something about your relationships that feels unsustainable, or it just feels like there's kind of a misalignment, And I just feel like there isn't enough details to kind of understand, I feel like it's a feeling more than anything. Do you know when you just have that feeling about somebody, or you have this just weird, what I'm talking about, when your intuition's just acting up and your intuition's girl, there's something going on here, but there's nothing actually going on. And I'm feeling like you guys are very logical people, or you guys at least like to see it before you believe it. And I do feel like this has made you a very wise person, and because of that, I think that you are very resilient. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's why I feel so comfortable with kind of, giving you the message pretty blunt in the beginning. But aside from that, what I'm just feeling here is that there are people in your life that you have felt don't belong there, or there are people in your life that you feel like do belong there. And I also feel like there's this perception of yourself that has had like some of you, I feel like your self-perception was in some way like sponsored by other people around you, in the sense that like I feel like there are people around you that have played a huge part in your self-growth and your realization in regards to your identity. And the reason I'm kind of like wording it that way is because what I'm trying to say here is that I feel like you guys are very big on improving yourselves. I do feel like you guys are always transforming, always trying to improve your life, always trying to implement new things into your life that will make you feel better. And just, you guys are very self-advocating. And because of that, I do think that you have understood the relevance of how people play into your growth, you know, like your journey of self-growth and all of that. Do you get what I'm saying? And because of that, I'm feeling like your relationships will kind of take the forefront in this Venus retrograde. I mean, it's going to be that way for everyone, but I feel like for you, it'll be more so in a way to kind of make you realize how they affect you and how they change you, how they hurt you, how they heal you, you know? And I feel like all this context will be provided because, like, for a while, I feel like you guys have had a little bit of trouble or a little bit of, like, confusion in regards to how you interact within your relationships, you know? And I'm feeling like this retrograde will help you understand it more and understand these interactions a lot more. And it'll help you make a lot more clean decisions. And also, like, define some of your emotional needs and what it is that you exactly seek from relationships, because I do feel like maybe you guys have been a little bit independent, or you guys have been very like focused on yourself and just not concerned too much with how you invite people into your life. Or I'm feeling like a lot of you guys haven't been too interested in relationships, honestly, but I also feel like that could be like one of two like sides of the same coin. I feel like some of you guys have been very interested, but I feel like for the others of you, you have been completely disinterested and detached. But I'm feeling like this Venus retrograde will not only present to you the necessities and the importance of relationships, but also like how like you can implement those into your life, and how you can, you know, like bring relationships into your life without having to do so in a way that is emotionally taxing or threatening to you, your resources, your private, like your personal space, you know, and just like anything that you deem as like very personal, very private, and very important to you, you know. And I just feel like it'll be this sense of like carving out space for it. I don't know like why, but this is like such a weird analogy. So like, say like I have like a block of wood, and I have like this card on, you know, and I want this card to fit perfectly inside of it. So you put this card on the wood, and then you draw it out, and then you carve it out, you know. And then as you're going forward, you know, you have to put the card back in the spot to say like, hey, is this the vibe, you know, is this working? Am I in the right direction? And even when you carved out all the space, you kind of still have to put it there to kind of carve out the space, you know. I don't know like if that makes sense or not, but basically what I'm trying to say is that this will be a huge learning process and kind of like a gradual like uphill slope in how you apply relationships and how they feed you, you know? Because I feel like maybe for some of you, you've dealt with some pretty horrendous relationships, and I feel pretty comfortable saying that across the board here, and I'm not going to be too surprised if we see more of that along this reading. But I also feel like I'm not saying that in a way that's like, oh my gosh, like you guys have gone through it, you know? Like, oh, like, but more so in a way that's like, it's just what happened, you know? I feel like you guys like to look things at a more realistic perspective and to be like, hey, like that's just what happened, you know? I don't think that you guys want to be perceived as like a victim or somebody who is weak or anything like that, you know? And I'm just saying that because I really want to express that to you guys, because I don't see you as weak, nor am I saying that you are or anything of that nature, because obviously you're like the narrator of your own narrative, you know? But I am trying to say that like there are things that have happened to you that have caused you to behave the way that you do within your relationships and how you like interact with yourself and talk to yourself, you know? So I am feeling like that will be in the forefront of this Venus retrograde for you, because I feel like ultimately what it's trying to do is bring harmony into your life and bring some emotional congruency in how you perceive yourself and how you perceive others and how you want others to perceive you and all of that nature, you know? Anyways, let's pull some more Oracle cards here. I have 3 more decks. So, well, I have 3 Oracle decks. This is technically a tarot deck. Well, it is a tarot deck. Anyways, a card for pile 2's Venus Retrograde. Card for, oh, that one wanted to come out. Okay. We have a crow. Universal, what does it say? Universal laws and truths are now being revealed. Use this energy to create your reality. I do feel as if though, like, you guys will be or your manifestation powers in regards to relationship will be very potent here. So I must say, do be mindful of how you harness your energy and how you kind of use it, because I feel like it will be the kind of a little bit goes a very long way. I'm feeling like you guys will manifest very quickly during this time period. So be careful what you wish for is what I'm going to say here. Let's pull a Moonology card too. I was actually very happy with the context this deck has provided in pile 1. So I was like, oh, I know. Card for pile 2's Venus Retrograde. Okay. We have balance, spirituality, and practicality. Full moon in Pisces. I love that message. Oh my gosh. You know what it makes me think of? So this deck that I have, the Way of the Panda Tarot, I remember it was one of these cards. I forgot what it was, but the definition was like in reverse, projecting spirituality onto everything, you know? And I'm feeling like this Venus retrograde will just help you live a little bit more casually, you know? I feel like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I feel like you guys will be able to live a little bit more superficially and a little bit more materialistically. And I don't mean this in a way that like you guys will be hedonistic or anything like that, but I feel like it's the sense of like you'll start to kind of enjoy more simple pleasures in your life. And I'm feeling like it'll finally be a time where you're not being too logical, or like it's kind of like this recalibration moment where you're not being too logical, but you're also not being too emotional, you know? And because of that, you kind of find like this middle ground, and it'll kind of balance things out. And I'm feeling like this will happen as a result of you kind of improving your relationship with others and yourself. Highlight on the yourself part, because I do feel like maybe you guys have felt a little bit out of balance for a while now. And I think that it's one of those things where you couldn't quite put your finger on it. And it was one of those things where you kind of like, it flies under the radar, and it's not something that you're like, oh, like, you know, like I'm just like out of balance right now. I think it's just one of those things where like you feel it, or it's just something that you're feeling, but you can't really define it or understand why it is that you're feeling that. So first of all, I'm feeling like you guys will have the benefit of recognizing that, and I feel like your perspective and your bias will work so much better together, and that you'll finally understand what you're going through. You'll finally understand like what it is that you're looking for. And most importantly, above all else, if none of that has resonated, is that you'll finally be able to diagnose any problems that have been causing you to live in a way that is not fulfilling or just not satisfying in general to either you or people around you, you know. But emphasis on, you know, you. But I just feel like mentioning other people, and this will be important because once again, how you interact in these relationships and other people will play a huge part in kind of realizing how you're going about things, because I do feel like you appreciate the external like observations and data, you know? And not to say that like you are like, oh, like putting too much value in what people think of you and stuff like that, but more so in a way that it'll just provide a little bit of extra context that maybe you were looking for, you know? Like it's like a survey. I don't think it'll go like unsolicited, like people just start telling you how they feel and stuff like that, but more so in a way you'll feel more comfortable kind of communicating with the people that you care about and people that maybe you are like within relationships with, whether it be familial, like romantic, you know, platonic. Just I feel like you'll finally be able to kind of eloquently put into words what it is that you're looking for or how it is that you feel. And I'm just feeling like it'll just be this beautiful energy of having this whole new layer to yourself that you're able to improve upon and to grow into, you know. I'm feeling like your capacity in so many different ways will increase, and because of that, like you'll just feel like this motivation to start taking up more space, you know, and that'll just really exalt you emotionally and spiritually. Oh, so beautiful. I'm gonna pull some tea leaf fortune cards before we get into the tarot. Some cards for pile 2. Oh my gosh, 2 cards just fell on the floor. Some cards for pile 2. Did you see how that one flew out? Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys got a lot more than pile 1. I'm feeling like... Anyways. I have to get the 2 cards off the floor. Oh my god. Alright. So for your cards, tea leaf fortune cards at least, we have not unsuccessful plans. We have heart, love, deep affection, and caring. Club, someone will try to make you do something against your will. Peacock, beware of great pride. Seahorse, family matters. Pale, time to get out of a situation. And fox, shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. I'm feeling like you, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be really smart. Your brain is going to be like a computer. Like, I don't know why, but like saying the word computer is just so funny to me because like we don't say computer anymore. We say like laptop, we say desktop, we say MacBook, we say, you know what I mean? We never say computer. I don't know. I just think that's funny. I just think that word's hilarious. But anyways, back to being serious. Gosh. So I'm feeling like a lot of these cards are a little bit, like, I can see how they would be concerning to someone, but I honestly see a very clear message because I feel like these are all things that you're very aware of, you know? I don't think anything in this reading, I feel like the energies that I presented, I told this to pile 1 too, because we are already in the midst of the shadow period if you're watching this when I'm uploading it, of Venus retrograde. So I'm feeling like these themes have already been coming up. And if not, these are kind of like, all of these are feelings that you have already probably had, but I feel like this Venus retrograde will give you that believing part of it, you know? You have been feeling it, you've been believing it, but I feel like now is the time to see it, you know? And I'm feeling like once you have that, it'll finally give you a lot more justification to kind of go about things that you have been planning on. I think that with the Fox card, you already have a plan and a specific message for some of you. I'm feeling like maybe with the Seahorse card and the Pale card, maybe some of you guys are moving out of something. Maybe you're breaking up with someone. Maybe you're moving out of like an apartment that you leased with like a lover or like, you know, something of that nature, you know, or you're moving away from a toxic family. It's just like, maybe for some of you then you could be like a Taurus rising. You could be a Taurus rising, or you could be, because of that Leo 4th house, so that would mean the retrogrades in your 4th house. Anyways, I digress. I feel like you guys are just like getting yourself out of a situation, you know, especially if like ones that involve your relationships. And I'm feeling like the kind of removal of this, or at least like the emotional or spiritual removal of this, for some of you it could be like a physical move, but I feel like for a lot of you it could also just be like more intangible, if you know what I mean. And because of that, I feel like that's what's kind of inspiring you to kind of move forward and kind of seek a more meaningful love and in so many different ways. And I'm thinking that this will kind of be an advent where you like relearn yourself almost, or relearn some people in your life, you know? Or to kind of at least shed some truth and light on those that have hurt you or have, you know, smothered you or made you feel some sort of way, you know? Especially with this Knot card. I'm feeling like you guys are just so done trying to make things work that you clearly know aren't going to work or something like that, you know? And I'm just feeling like this Venus retrograde will really help you move away from something that will ultimately create so much space for something that you probably have been craving for a really long time now. And as a result, I think that, you know, like I said, your manifestation powers are going to be very potent during this retrograde. So I'm feeling like it's the sense of like when you make room for these things, pile to understand what you're trying to make room for, you know? I'm just feeling like this will be a time where you finally get a lot of the movement that you have been wanting, and that your intentions will be like magnified. Like they'll be very concentrated. You know what makes me, it makes me think of like a, I don't know, like you have to remove something before it starts, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like, set intentions for what you're trying to make room for, and watch as that room that you create gets filled with exactly what you were looking for, and within a pretty timely manner, honestly. And I just think that this will all be careful planning. I think that you're very intelligent, and I'm pretty sure you're very aware of all of this. But I think that this is more of like me putting things, like me putting these feelings and kind of like these realities, no, realizations that you've probably been having for a while now into words, not worst. But yeah, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of this reading is just like, it's kind of hard to tell. And I'm feeling like I'm just trusting that you get exactly what I'm saying. You know, if it's resonated so far, then I know you know what I'm saying. But like basically, it's just, it's finally time for you to let go of something, and it's finally time that something that has run its course in your life to leave, to make room for something that you originally wanted to take up that space. Did you see that? It's just like the cards just all move. That's so rude. It's gonna do it again. How much you want to bet? I kind of want us to do it again, just to be right. Literally, girl. My intuition's always right. Just kidding. That's just science. Anyways, messages for pile 2 and this Venus retrograde transit. Messages for pile 2 in regards to Venus retrograde. Okay. We have 4 of Cups. You could be a Cancer, since we have a crab here. We have 9 of Cups. Very nice card. We have 9 of Matches. We have 10 of Cups. Lots of cups. Oh my gosh. And then we have Page of Cups. Let me kind of move these over so you can see them all. I don't know, like I like the look of the tea leaf cards like being spread out. It like looks really cute. I don't know. And then on the bottom of the deck we have Page of Needles. So I think the 9 of Matches here being in the middle of the reading is super important, because above all else, pile 2, what's happening in this Venus retrograde for you, and one thing that I am going to say that I feel pretty confident in saying, is that things that maybe you've been hanging on to for too long will finally be released. Like with this knot card, it literally makes me think of rope burn, like hanging onto a rope and rope burn, and the relief that comes with just letting it go, you know? It makes me think of tug of war. It makes me think of conflict. It makes me think of like emotional unrest. And I think that a lot of that is coming to an end. But I think that you guys understand how real, like, you guys know what's realistic and what's not. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's not going to be like just the snap of the fingers and it's gone. But more so, the process will be a lot more expedited, because you will finally gain the energy and the motivation and the drive to kind of get rid of these things. And I'm feeling like you guys are the type of people, when you feel a drive for something, or when you feel motivated to like do something, the speed, efficiency, and like just like how prolific you become is quite wild. And I'm feeling like you guys are very ruled by your emotions, and you're very driven in that sense. I'm feeling like you guys are like me. Like, girl, I don't know about you, but if I'm like only 99% feeling something, I literally can't do it. I literally just cannot do it. Like it's not for me. I have to be 100% in, you know, 101 at that, you know. I have to be completely invested in something, and I'm feeling like that's what you guys are. And because of that, I think that this Venus retrograde will kind of help you open your eyes and really give you like the motivation and like show you what it is that you're wanting, and kind of give you like that extra little like oomph to kind of move forward and be like, hey, like I don't want this in my life anymore. And with the 9 of Cups and the 10 of Cups, I almost wonder, and with the Page of Cups, I almost wonder if like that whole thing that I was talking about, like, oh, like once you make room for something and you purge things, something will fill that space very quickly. I'm feeling like you guys very much understand like what it is that you're looking for, or at least you've been working very hard to define what it is that you crave in your relationships and just in general anything that is related to Venusian topics. And I feel like upon defining that, that will kind of get wrapped up during this retrograde. And I'm feeling like maybe by the end of the retrograde, you will have successfully made room for what it is that you're looking for in all of these Venusian topics. And once that happens, like things will start to really fill that space. You know, I'm like, it'll be kind of like plowing the land and then planting the seeds, you know, just like all in one, you know. Makes me think of like filling, like you have an old flower pot, you clean it out and then you put dirt in it and then you put the seeds in it and then you're ready to go, you know. And I do think that that is all backed up by the Four of Cups and the Page of Needles on the bottom of the deck and the Page of Cups, just because I feel like you've been tapping with your inner child. Maybe you guys have been healing your inner child, or maybe looking at how old family dynamics have kind of influenced your relationships, or how you interact with the world and how you move about your life, you know, and what motivates you essentially. So I'm just feeling like this retrograde will kind of like help you see things a lot more clearly, you know, help you see things that have happened in your past, or help you see things that are going on around you without those rose-colored glasses, or without like all of these expectations, all of these, you know, like misconceptions and, you know, like smokes and mirrors, you know. I feel like that will be removed and it will kind of help you see things that you weren't able to see before, and it was definitely frustrating you for a little bit and keeping you from the fulfillment that you truly seek. But overall, honestly, Pile 2, I'm just going to sum up your reading by saying that this Venus retrograde is essentially going to finally give you the means to manifest what you have been looking for so long, and to properly prepare for the manifestation to actually come into fruition, as opposed to just being something that's like a slow burn thing in your life, or something that's like you feel like you're just like slowly drifting towards it aimlessly. No, like you will finally like carve out a path for the manifestation to directly come to you. And honestly, with the crow card here, it really does, like, I always think of crows as like a good sign, you know, or like when you see them, it means that there are changes, it means that there is something coming. Sometimes, like, I don't know what like scientifically crows mean, but like I feel like for me, like emotionally and spiritually, like when I see them, it just means that there is change coming, and that there is something, you know, like different coming, and that misconceptions are going to be cleared up, and misconceptions will no longer be of importance, because I feel like crows have a lot of like misconceptions, but you know, that's the only reason I'm mentioning it. But yeah, basically, Pile 2, I'm just feeling like this Venus retrograde transit will really help you realign with yourself and to make room for something that means so much more to you and brings you the fulfillment that you probably tried to like get a dupe version of a while back. You know, you probably sold something short in order to get like a knockoff version or something, but now you're like, girl, like I'm ready. Like you're ready for the real thing, or you're ready for something that is a little bit more of value to you, or something that is just better, you know. Emotional investments. Period. Anyways, that's all I have for you, Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially because this is like the first time I'm ever doing a reading like this for you guys. But if you'd like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the Golden Thread Tarot and the Citrine Point, this is going to be your reading for your Venus retrograde, and just some tea about it. You guys, I have to... So tell me why I was just filming your pile. I was a minute in, like I literally just put the deck down, and the ice cream truck pulls up out of nowhere, blasting their music. And it was just like, they were outside for like, I don't even know how long. Like, I guess someone was actually buying ice cream, but they were just sitting there for like an extended period of time, and oh my gosh, I was shocked. Okay, anyways, I hope you enjoyed that interesting little anecdote. But before we get into the tarot, I do want to pull some cards from Oracle decks and this tarot deck. I've actually had this tarot deck for a while now. I got it during the last Venus retrograde, and I don't know, like I wasn't too drawn to this deck for a while. I was literally dying for it before I bought it, and then when I got it, I was like, eh. And like, I don't know, like, but now that Venus retrograde is like happening again, I'm like, ooh, we love her, you know. So there's that. A card for pile 3's Venus retrograde. A card for pile 3's Venus retrograde. Card for pile 3's Venus retrograde. Oh my gosh, that one just like flopped out. That was so aggressive. Like, please. Okay. We have Justice, Understanding, and Karmic Balance. For those of you that have been done incorrectly, just know that the people who have done you incorrectly will get what they deserve during this Venus retrograde. I'm feeling like you guys are like at that, but that's just what I gotta say. But I also feel like it's very interesting because Justice is ruled by Libra and Libra is ruled by Venus. So I'm feeling like maybe you guys have been like Libra in your chart. You could be a Libra Venus, or other than that, you could just have some Libra placements. But you know, aside from that, I also just feel like this kind of, you know, relationships all of us, like, relationships are taking a forefront because that's something that Venus heavily deals with, you know. And I'm feeling like every single pile so far has had relationships brought up, and I'm suspecting that every single pile will. But the difference between each pile and how like the relationships themes comes up is where things kind of like differ. And I'm feeling like for you guys, it will just be setting things right between you and people that maybe have done you wrong, or maybe you have done wrong, you know. I'm feeling like a lot of forgiveness is coming your way, pile 3, in the form of you forgiving people or them forgiving you. And obviously this will all be done according to what you're comfortable with. And I'm feeling like even if that isn't the case, even if forgiveness doesn't take a forefront, it'll just be this feeling of being able to let things go and kind of allowing things that have happened to you to coexist. You know, I'm feeling like I'm thinking of this quote that my friend always talks about, and it was when she was grieving. She was like, grief doesn't, like, you never, like, she was referencing this one dude, I don't even know what his name is, but he was like, grief, you never get over grief, you know, you only make room for it. And I'm feeling like you guys will do that, you know, you will make room and make amends with things in your life that maybe for a while you couldn't accept, or maybe couldn't handle, or just deal with, you know. But also, I don't mean this in a way that like this transit is about to be crazy heavy for you, but like, honestly, truthfully, if you do have Libra placements, it will like bring a lot to the surface that maybe you didn't think would come up to the surface, but more so in a good way, because it will help you see things that maybe you probably couldn't see before, you know, in the regards of like why someone did what they did to you, or why you were acting the way that you were acting, you know, or why someone did this to this other person. And, you know, like, a lot of reasoning will be brought up, you know, like Libra is the scales, you know, balance will be restored, or things will be brought up with intentions to restore balance. Oh, that's just so beautiful. Because pile 3, I'm feeling like maybe you guys have dealt with a lot. We've all dealt with a lot. Let's be real here. And I don't mean that in a way to undermine you or make you feel like, oh, like everyone goes through it, it's whatever. But more so in a way that you aren't alone, and that a lot of the things that you've been keeping your peace on, or a lot of things that you feel like haven't been brought up, that have kept you your peace, or like kept your peace away from you, will be brought up. And okay, this is like a very specific like thought, but I just thought of this one episode, this anime called Case Closed. I don't know if you guys know what that anime is, but it's like basically like a detective Sherlock Holmes vibe, but in like anime fashion. And I remember there was this episode where this nurse like unalived somebody, because that somebody had actually kidnapped and unalived her brother, and she watched it all happen. And so she was too young at the time, and she waited all those years, you know, and in the end, like, she ended up like turning herself in. And I remember like, oh, I just got chills. I remember at the end of it, it was like she didn't even want to get away with anything. Like, she just wanted peace. She just wanted to feel heard, and she wanted to feel like those that have done her wrong are getting what they deserve, and that, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, honestly, that made me kind of emotional because, like, that's just such a meaningful message, you know, pile 3. And I don't know if you'll resonate with what I'm trying to say here. And I'm assuming if you're, like, still listening, then it has resonated. But basically, pile 3, just know, like, this Venus retrograde, it might bring up things that make you uncomfortable. And it might evoke certain emotions that you never thought you'd feel again. But I want to say for the record, these emotions will be emotions that have been kept within you for a very long time and have manifested in your physical reality. And maybe for a while you were like, why is this happening? What is it I learned from this? Like, why did these things happen to me, you know? Or why is, like, I couldn't have possibly manifested this? Just understand, like, there's a huge thorn in your side, and you know it, pile 3. I'm anything that I'm saying in this reading, for the record, are things that you have already been feeling and things you've already been like suspecting, just because at the time of uploading this, we're already in the midst of the shadow period for Venus retrograde. And so, like, because of that, I'm just feeling like you guys have been, like, realizing that there are things that went under the radar, or there are things that have been haunting you that you didn't even realize have been haunting you. And maybe if you have been realizing that it's been haunting you, you thought it was for a completely different reason. But I'm here to say that this retrograde will really bring things up in your face, and the emotions that you feel will be emotions that you have been storing within you, your psyche, your body for a really long time now, that have probably been manifesting situations into your life that have really hurt you. And they didn't hurt you because they were inflicting new wounds, but rather they were agitating wounds that you had already had in you for a very long time now, or at least ever since the last Venus retrograde, you know? And these feelings will not be new feelings, but rather old cluttered feelings that just need to get out of your body, you know? And I don't mean to scare you, pile 3, but I also feel like you guys know just as well as I do that you are long overdue for a cleansing and a purge. And even if it isn't in the form of, like, mascara running down the face, ugly crying, like it maybe won't be that for all of you. For some of you it could be, but only because you need it, you know? And I don't like to, like, sit here and say, like, oh, like, you're gonna go through things, you know? But more so in a way, like, it doesn't really matter, like, what emotions are brought up, but I'm just kind of saying that as an example to kind of describe the severity, or not severity, but the weight of the things that are getting brought up, you know, the significance of them, you know, to where they can evoke emotions like that. But I think that the way that you guys react to it and the way that you guys kind of, like, interact with that memory and all of these feelings will be completely different from how I'm describing it. But I feel really confident in saying that you guys will be releasing things that have been deep within you for a very long time now, that you didn't even realize were in you, and you didn't even realize were causing you disruptions within your manifestations, you know? And maybe for some of you, it could be related to your finances and your career, just because you chose citrine, and the last Venus retrograde was in Capricorn, I believe. But, you know, I'm just feeling like this transit will be so beautiful for you guys, because maybe on paper it won't be as pretty, because I don't think any retrograde is necessarily pretty, but I also just feel like it will help you see a lot more clearer, and it will help you kind of diagnose a lot of things in your life and finally give you the knowledge and the context that you need to truly move on and to start anew, and to finally level things out, and to finally feel like nothing owes you, or you don't owe anything, or anything of that nature, you know? It'll be like a literal hard reset for you guys. And I know you guys have been wanting that. I know you guys need that, and you're gonna be getting it. Trust me, pile 3. But maybe not in the ways that you have been suspecting, simply because the things that will get brought up will be things that you didn't even realize were a thing, you know? It's just like this retrograde is going to give you a lot of surprises within how you have been balancing your life, and what has been established to maintain order in your life, and what no longer is working, simply because you don't deserve to constantly have to compensate things in your life that you didn't deserve. You know, like, you don't deserve to have to, like, constantly crutch other people, heal other people when they hurt you. You don't have to, like, deal with something and carry it on your shoulders constantly without your peace being stood up for, you know? It makes me think of like, there's a leak in a house. Oh, you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of like whenever there's like a leak in a ceiling, and instead of like fixing the leak, you just put a bucket there. And I'm feeling like that bucket is like a significant way of describing how things have been for you in a specific way, in the sense that like you feel like there was a lot of quick and easy solutions that was implemented into your life simply because there were things that you didn't understand how to cope with, or there were things in your life that you felt like were impossible, you know, or you just didn't know how to fix it, you know. There's a lot of times where people don't know how to fix leaks, and you gotta hit someone up, or you have to watch a YouTube video, but you know what I mean. But basically what I'm trying to say here is that you will finally be able to get to the bottom of a lot of things in your life, pile 3. And it will be strictly a good thing, for the record. Alright, some cards. A card for pile 3 in regards to Venus retrograde. Card for pile 3 in regards to Venus retrograde. Oh, wow. Okay, you saw it firsthand here on live TV. The card flew out. We have Robin. New growth and potential is on the horizon. Reach out and embrace it. Girl, we could just end the reading right there. I'm not going to, obviously. Oh my gosh, I'm just kidding. It's a joke, guys. But, like, that's just... I feel like that's tea. Like, that tea is so boiling hot. Like, girl, you're gonna need to blow on it before you sip it. But, yeah, I do think that that card speaks for itself. It makes me think of, like a potted plant that's, like, in a dark room. And, like, it's getting moved into the light, and it's just getting properly cared for now so that it can grow, instead of, like, getting all leggy and stuff like that to compensate for the harsh conditions that it's in, you know? You'll finally be able to grow, and you'll finally be able to make room. Oh my gosh, pile 3. I hope you don't mind all of the analogies that I'm bringing up, but it makes me think, because you know when you grow succulents, they get, like, they stretch out, and they, like, if you're, like, a plant nerd like I used to be, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. But, like, succulents get etiolated and they start stretching for the sun. And they have these really long stems of, like, spread out leaves. And then when you finally put it in, like, higher sun, the rosette comes back and, like, the beautiful, like, flower-looking thing comes back, you know, instead of it being all lanky. But the lanky stuff is still there, you know, because it's just there now, you know. And I remember when I was a little baby, I used to be dropped off of my babysitter's house, and she'd have this plant, and it was a succulent, and I remember it was leggy at some point, but then it had that tight rosette again, and it looked like a flower at the top. And I just remember I loved how unique it had grown because of that. And basically what I'm trying to say by bringing this up is you will learn to appreciate the parts of yourself that you developed to survive. You know, and you will no longer, like, if you, obviously, like, this is a very specific message, so if it doesn't resonate, you know, do leave it for others. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you will appreciate parts of your life that maybe you shut out, you know. You'll start to love parts of your life that you felt like were terrible, or you will start to love parts of yourself that you felt like were not good, you know, or, like, obviously not to say that it's objectively not good. It's not bad or good. But more so in a way, like, if anything, it is good, you know? And I know, like, that message is, like, very specific. But what I'm trying to say here is that, like, you will come to terms with a lot of the things that have happened in your life, like I said. And forgiveness will be a huge theme in your life. And you will start to appreciate that part of your life and that part of yourself that you developed to survive, like I said. And you will release that part of yourself. But at the same time, releasing it doesn't mean that you will shut it out and disagree with it. But more so, you will love the way that you have moved on, and the way that when a situation really calls for it, you will adapt and you will learn. And I feel like with this being brought up, basically what's happening is you will develop a new immense form of self-trust and belief in yourself and your abilities and your power to heal from things and to move on from things, even when it seems as if though, like, the world is against you. Anyways, let's pull some Moonology cards. Oh my gosh, pile 3. I feel like this reading, like, the reading topics have been very, like, all the readings have been very heavy, so, like, I'm trying to, like, keep the mood light, you know, but it's like, you know. Anyways, a card for pile 3. Okay, that one just flew out. We have you and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. So you could be a Cancer moon, you could have Cancer in your chart. But I also feel like if you are watching this at the time of upload, we do have a Cancer new moon coming up, which is very convenient. But I also feel like Cancer is a very healing sign. You know, I feel like Cancer energy really heals me personally. It's hard to get Cancers to talk to me. I don't know what it is about me, but like Cancers just don't talk to me. Anyways, I'm just feeling like you won't have to worry anymore. This Venus retrograde, I'm feeling, will bring a lot of themes of like safety to you, and it will help you feel comfortable again. And essentially, if you are in the midst of it, it will take you out of survival mode and take you into like comfortable, like Zen thriving mode. You know, like I do think that it'll be quite a volatile process, of one that kind of brings you a lot of quick changes. And it will come with a lot of emotional balancing and whatever it is that you need to do to cope with it. But I also feel like it will be productive. You know, I'm feeling like maybe you guys, for a while now, maybe you cried, maybe you're coping with something, maybe you're dealing with something and you didn't even know what it was, and you felt like it would just come back up to the surface constantly, you know? But this time it'll be productive. Not that the other times weren't productive, but more so in a way that this will give you the results, and this release will give you kind of like, you know, like the results and the things that you have been looking for, and it will give you the progress that you have been wanting, and it will bring you so much growth and beauty into your life, and it'll essentially just like heal you in ways that you didn't even realize you needed to be healed, and it will bring you a sense of safety into your life, you know? Anyways, let's pull some tea leaf fortune cards before we quickly dive into the tarot. Some cards for pile 3. Okay, this card wants to come out. Some cards for pile 3. Okay. Whew. All right. So for you, we have clouds, temporary problems, target, a goal-oriented person. That's you. That's all you. Rainbow, the most difficult part of a situation is over, girl. Well, family wishes come true. And tent, temporary situation. For some of you, if you have been wanting to find a nice home for your family, or if you have been wanting to live with your family, or if you've been wanting to move out from your something in regards to something that you want within the family will occur. It will happen. But I feel like the clouds and the 10 card definitely excuse me. Oh my gosh, I've never coughed in a video. But I'm feeling like the well or the clouds and the 10 card speak of the situation that you've probably been in the midst of for a while now. There's something in your life that you really want to change. You're unhappy in some aspect of your life, you know? And, you know, I don't want to, like, sit here and be like, oh, like, you're unhappy and tell you how you feel. But more so in a way that I'm just trying to tell you, like, if there is something in your life that you have been dissatisfied with, or if there's something in your life that you feel like you've been having to compromise greatly for, just know that it is nothing more than a temporary situation, and that it was just a quick shelter for you to kind of retreat from bigger problems. But now you are so much stronger than you like once were. And not to say that you're weak, but like you were strong and now you are even stronger. And because of that, you simply just do not need these temporary situations to kind of protect you from things, or to kind of keep things away from you, to kind of like keep you in the dark so that you aren't like in danger or anything. You're so much stronger now. And I'm feeling like this Venus retrograde will teach you just how much stronger you are. And it'll finally give you the means to prove the lessons that you have learned, and to prove that you were never wasting your time, you know? I feel like this will just be like a very beautiful time for you, you know? Like you've been studying for a test, and this will finally be the action, like the test finally coming through, you know? You know when like at school, like you used to like study for a test and like the test ends up getting delayed until like the next week? and then like when the test comes around again, like you finally have the means to prove like that you've been studying and stuff. I feel like that's what it is for you. Like these delays are over, and they were to kind of keep things in balance, you know, and to make sure that everything was right. But yeah, let's get into the tarot to kind of wrap things up here. I get a lot of nice comments about all the decks that I'm using today. I feel like these decks all have like specific fan bases, so especially this one. I don't see other readers use this deck very often. Anyways, I digress. Messages for pile 3 and Venus retrograde. Messages in regards to Venus retrograde for pile 3. Okay, for your cards we have Strength. It's so hard to see. Let me turn on the lamp. We have the Fool. We have Ace of Wands. We have Knight of Swords. And the Hierophant. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have 10 of Cups. Girl. I mean, you saw me shuffle the deck. Like, I can't lie to you. Anyways. I don't know, you guys. I've been feeling really sassy as of late. Like, please. Anyways. With the Fool card and the 10 of Cups being here, and also the Ace of Wands, like, if that doesn't say new passion projects and new ways of achieving the emotional fulfillment that you feel like you've been deprived of for a while now, I don't know what will, honestly. And with the Hierophant card, some of you guys may start making more money. I'm feeling like a lot of you guys will get into a job that you have been looking for, or you will find a job at all if you have been really looking for a job. But for others of you, like if you've been wanting to get into school, if you've been wanting to move, like your life will pick up pace during this retrograde. And I don't think that necessarily, like to be honest with you guys, I don't think that this retrograde will necessarily bring the necessary changes, but more so a way that it'll present you a roadmap as to how you can exactly navigate this situation to kind of get you the changes that you've been looking for. It'll essentially like present you like a how-to tutorial or like a manual, if you will, to kind of navigate the situation, because I do feel as if though it's a little bit like it's sketchy to start things during a retrograde. You guys know that. But also like the way things time out is it doesn't really matter what's going on, but you know, like I'm just like saying that to kind of keep it real with you guys. But I do think that above all else, with the Strength card, the Knight of Swords, and the Hierophant, a lot of new information will be presented to you guys, and you will kind of understand things at a deeper level. And what I mean by that is that you'll finally have a lot of the context that you need, and you'll finally get some news back that you've probably been dying for, to kind of get the life that you've been wanting started, and to kind of have another shot at the emotional fulfillment that you feel like you were robbed of, you know? And I feel really like good saying that, because I just feel like the Justice card, it just really shows that like you'll be getting your peace back, and that you've been working really hard. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're getting a lot of news that you will be getting what it is that you have been working so hard for, or that all your hard work is going to be paying off. I'm feeling like you guys have been hearing that a lot. I feel like you guys are very frustrated by that. Like you will be rewarded for the hard work that you've been putting in, even though like you don't really know what the hard work is for, nor did you understand why you had to do it, you know? And I'm feeling like this retrograde will finally kind of bring a little bit more context in regards to that. And if anything, if it doesn't like naturally just like, oh, like bring everything in like light speed, it will definitely give you some details that you have been really wanting, or it'll present some like details in regards to opportunities that you have probably been trying to manifest into your life. I'm feeling like this will finally give you the tools to manifest what you've been looking for. And it will finally kind of give you that momentum and kind of that confidence to go after it, you know? And with the Hierophant card, I do think that like for those of you that feel like you're competing with someone, or for those of you that feel like there are other people that are coveting what it is that you want, just know that like you will have the confidence to stand up to them, and you have what it takes to beat other people or to get what it is that you want, because no one wants it more than you, and that's just that, and you know that. I feel like for those of you that feel very comfortable knowing that there are things in your life that you really want more than anyone else, you will have that in your life. I think I'm just going to sum up your reading, pile 3, by saying that this Venus retrograde is really going to like shed a lot of light and make you understand that the life that you're living now isn't your true emotional fulfillment, and maybe at time how you're living now really served you and made you very happy. But I also feel like that's just because it got you away from a situation that was even more turbulent and heartbreaking. But now I feel like that you guys are a little bit more comfortable within yourselves and you have learned a lot more and gotten stronger. You're realizing that you don't want to survive, you want to thrive. And I'm feeling like during this retrograde, it will kind of make you understand like this is nothing more than a temporary situation, and a lot of context will be provided as to how things have happened, why things have happened, and you will finally get so much of the drive that you've been needing to kind of get you through this and to kind of get you to a place where you want to be, especially in regards to your home, your family, and just your emotional fulfillment as a whole and how you feel secure and stable in your life, And above all else, it'll finally give you a sense of healing that will solicit new beginnings in your life that are way more fulfilling and will get you as far away as possible from these situations that traumatize you or hurt you or made you feel some sort of way at all, but more so in a way that like it will help you accept these things and to learn to appreciate them and what has happened in the ways that count to you and in the ways that may matter to you the most. And it will finally just be this kind of like the dust will finally settle and you will finally be able to just move forward with your life and to let go of things that have probably been a thorn in your side, It's just new beginnings. Really, that's it. So yeah. That's all I have for you, Pile 3. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially since it's my first time ever doing a reading like this for you guys. And if you'd like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you chose the lovely Omens Tarot and this rose quartz crystal, then this is going to be your reading for messages for your Venus retrograde. Oh my gosh, I've been having so much trouble phrasing that this whole video. So anyways, as you can see the lamps on, I turned it on near the end of Pile 3. I'm sure you guys don't mind, but I just get shy. Just kidding. Anyways, before we get into the tarot cards, I do want to pull some oracle cards and also a card from this tarot deck because I've actually had this tarot deck for a while now. I got it during the last Venus retrograde and I didn't really feel drawn to it ever, at least enough to use it in a video or for other people. But today when I was picking the decks for this video, I was like, oh wow, I feel like this deck could provide a lot of context. Anyways, card for Pile 4 is Venus retrograde. A card for Pile 4 is Venus retrograde. Okay. Okay, we have the Shadow, Dependence, and Materialism. I think this is the Devil card. Also, another card wanted to come out, and it was 10 of Swords, Karmic Lessons, Only Upwards. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't originally going to take this, but I feel very called to. So you guys will get 2 of those. But I do feel as if though, this is just so clear. There is an ending to negative habits in your life. And this retrograde is definitely going to open your eyes and make you get rid of things in your life that are no longer serving you. Especially with the Saturn and Pisces whole theme here. I don't know how relevant that is to you guys, but at least in terms of how it affects you. But basically what I'm trying to say here is that this is a very sensitive message. But if you guys are, using things to cope that are not good for your body, or, participating in unhealthy coping mechanisms, period, I think that those will be brought up to the surface during this retrograde and in a very specific way. And I feel like it'll just be kind of this sense of you can't go on. You just can't go on like this anymore. It's no longer sustaining you because it will no longer be giving you the relief that it used to give you. And I feel like this doesn't have to be that kind of message. But one thing that's kind of popping into my head, this is such a silly story, but I remember I had these 2 babysitters growing up and they both would, smoke. And I remember they both quit. And I thought it was hilarious because the one of them was like, I went to church and God told me to stop smoking. And then the second one said, I just don't have any money. And, you know, like, I was like, you know what? Like, whatever gets it off the table. But, you know, you know, if that doesn't resonate at all, and if this is, like, not making any sense, at least that's a funny little anecdote y'all can take. But basically, I don't think that this has to do specifically with those things in general, but more so it's a metaphor for things in your life that are no longer serving you or are clearly hurting you. And it's just like you can't hang on to these things anymore, you know? And I'm feeling like these are definitely energies that you have been, I've been saying this to every single pile, but the energy that I'm describing here are energies that you have already been feeling and things that you have already been kind of realizing at the time of me uploading this, because we're actually already in the midst of the shadow period for Venus retrograde, if you didn't know that. And so, like, I don't know, like, I feel a lot of mystery within your pile. It definitely sticks out to me in a lot of different ways here, just because it seems as if though, like, it can be pretty vague to kind of just say like, oh, like, you'll be releasing addictions or unhealthy habits, you know? I feel like that's just such a broad way of painting the picture, but I also feel like I have to, just because, like, well, not have to, but I feel like I'm doing that because it is such a sensitive topic, and I just feel like no matter what the situation is, like, it's just like, it can be very triggering when people kind of mention these things, and you're literally, like, for example, like, I love Starbucks, you guys, and I get very defensive when people tell me it's a problem, okay? So don't tell me it's a problem. But I'm on the same boat as you is what I'm trying to say. But, you know, on a more serious note, like, I just feel like if you guys have been in unhealthy relationships, or if you have been hanging on to things that are unhealthy, you will be able to let them go during this retrograde. Or at least this retrograde will present you the reasons and the motivation to finally let them go. And I'm also feeling like two more things are coming up. One, if you have been seeing other people do these things, or if you have been like around other people that do these things, and when I say these things, I mean like participating in unhealthy coping mechanisms, you know, and you're tired of seeing it, or if you are very hurt from other people treating you or treating themselves badly, just know all of these things will kind of get stabilized and you won't have to watch them go through it anymore. I just feel like a lot of physical healing is coming right now for you guys, and I'm feeling like, and the second thing I'm feeling is, it just feels as if though, like, if you have been wanting to move forward, or if you have just been wanting, like, if you feel like there is nothing right now, or if you feel like the only way, like, it seems as if though, like, you guys have been turning to the 3D world a lot to seek answers and to kind of make yourself believe that there is something more, you know? And I don't know how to describe it. Like, it just makes me just like attaching so much of your self-worth and so much of your emotions, and allowing things in the 3D world to control you. Like, how much money I have in the bank account defines me, or how much, you know, like, how many people want me in the way is like what I'm worth, you know? Or like, oh, like, this person's making more money than me, you know? Or things like that, you know? Just participating in very materialistic and very exploitive ways of thinking because something happened to you, or something happened in general that made you feel like it was hard to kind of navigate your emotions, or that there's just something that rewired the way you feel. And, you know, it doesn't have to be just like cause and effect, like, oh, something happened, so now this is how you are. But more so, and, you know, if that resonates for you, you know, like, take it with you. But at the same time, like, it doesn't have to just be like something caused it, but more so, like, it's more about like understanding that it doesn't even matter what caused it or why things are the way they are right now. But I feel like it's now about taking action and to actually implement changes into your life to kind of move forward in the ways that you have probably been wanting to, but felt like were inaccessible because of so many different things, you know. I don't think it matters what it is, because like I said, I think that the main point of this reading is to allow you to know that you will be moving forward in your life in ways that are comfortable for you, you know, like, and I think like it doesn't even matter the direction that you're moving forward, because I just feel like at this headspace that maybe some of you have entered, the fact that you're getting any movement at all is just what you need. And just know you're getting that pile 3 or pile 4, pardon me. But, you know, I just like, and you know, pile 4, I know like these are very sensitive messages, and I don't want to make you feel like shame or anything, because like me personally, like I have dealt with that too, of like basing so much of my happiness on material things. Like for example, like I've been ordering so much like jewelry and like stuff lately, and I've been contemplating buying so much stuff because sometimes I feel like blatant hedonism is the only way to nurture myself or to take care of myself, or I feel like buying things is the only form of love, you know. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but like it's just like the truth on like for me. And the reason I'm telling you this is because like I feel like if I don't, like this reading can come off as very patronizing. But basically what I'm trying to say to you, pile 4, is that your feelings are going to be validated in ways that will help you move forward, because it will give you the empowerment and the strength to finally give that push and to finally get yourself in a direction that you feel comfortable with. And just know, pile 4, this quote really helped me, but I remember I read it on an Instagram post before I deleted Instagram, and it said, your speed doesn't matter as much as your direction does. And I just feel like that is so the message for you guys, because right now, like I'm feeling like this Venus retrograde will finally get you back on track with things that matter to you, and finally get you away from these very painful endings that cause you to unhealthily cope. Let me pull some more oracle cards so we can provide some more context here. Card for pile 4. Card for pile. Yep. We have White Eagle. The connection to divine guidance is within you. I feel like you guys will definitely muster up a lot of motivation and strength, because if you guys have been in a very dark place, just know you'll finally move forward, and that you'll finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. And regardless of how far away it is, I just know that it'll be so much better than not seeing the light at all. And I feel like this sense of optimism will like wash over you guys, and you guys will just feel so much better in so many different ways. And for a lot of you, you'll start cultivating an exponential amount of self-love, and you'll finally start to kind of learn the language of taking care of yourself and showing yourself and maybe other people around you a lot of love in ways that maybe before you didn't think were possible, or in ways that maybe you just blatantly didn't see as like appropriate, you know. And I feel like you guys will finally like have the feeling that you've probably been wanting for a while now. Familiarity and stability is definitely on the forefront of this reading, and I'm feeling like a lot of you guys will achieve that, or a lot of you guys, that's will be the light at the end of the tunnel that you finally are starting to see. And a lot of the things that you have been going through will finally start making sense. Not in a way that's like, oh, like this is why you deserve this or something like that, you know, but more so in a way like, hey, like this happened to teach you this, and this happened, it wasn't your fault, but it's now time to move forward. You know, I don't think it's so much about explaining what has happened, more so in a way that it is completely about how you're going to move forward and heal from something, or heal from all these things that you felt like didn't know how to heal from, or felt like, oh, like why should I heal from something that isn't my fault, you know. I feel a lot of resentment in this pile, honestly, and I feel a lot of anguish, and I just want you to know, pile 4, like you are not alone, and just know that this retrograde is bringing these feelings up because it's time for you to finally purge them and to finally like get rid of them, you know. It makes me think of like when you have like a splinter, or like when you like pop a pimple, like it's going to bleed and stuff like that, but like you just need to get the pus out, you need to get the splinter out. It's time to just like get rid of it, and it's gonna hurt, but what you're left with is a little bit like you're just left without that stinging pain, you know, and you can finally put a band-aid on, you can finally apply some rubbing alcohol, even though you shouldn't pop pimples, but you get what I'm saying, you know? Like, it'll just finally become very evident as to how you can heal, and you will finally expedite a process that would have otherwise continued to cause you pain, you know? And honestly, like, it'll just put a stop to something that could have gone on for way longer and for way worse in your life. It'll just be a situation of like, no matter how bad it seems or no matter how much it hurts, pile 4, the healing journey that you're about to begin will feel just so perfectly timed. Card for pile 4 in regards to Venus retrograde. A card for pile 4. Okay. We have a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. For some of you, this could be like a new relationship, or for a lot of you, this could just be like finally bringing in romance into your life. Because I feel like romance doesn't have to always just be about relationships, but you know, I feel like this kind of goes a bunch of different directions, because I do think that maybe codependency is a theme here, whether it be you or other people that are being codependent. And I'm feeling like instead of attracting relationships where codependency is present, or instead of attracting relationships where you feel like true love or like, you know, true romance can't be cultivated or are simply deprived, you won't attract those situations anymore. And in fact, you'll make a more realistic approach to these things, and it will help attract so many better things into your life. Because I feel like codependency, like, we're all codependent, you know, like, we're codependent by nature. Like, that's just who we are as a species. Like, we're very social and we need people at times, you know. And I just feel like when people like say like codependent, like, or like don't be codependent and things like that, it's just like, it really hurts, and it really just feels like you're just denying, or like you're trying to like, I just feel like that's all a projection, you know. It's just denying something that is very present in our genetic code. But also, I'm not trying to like justify like blatant codependency and relying on people, you know, but more so in a way that I'm just trying to tell you that you guys will you guys will finally start to understand healthier boundaries in regards to your relationships and how you kind of treat yourself and how you project that onto other people, you know. And I'm feeling like a lot of you guys will bring so much more beauty into your life. Maybe some of you guys have just like, you've been like, it's been like quantity over quality for a while now, but I think that with the new romantic cycle beginning, it will definitely be more about quality than quantity. Better friends, but less friends, but better friends. You know, I don't know, whatever it is for you guys. Less jewelry, but better jewelry. Like, less tarot decks, but better tarot decks. You get what I'm saying here, File 4? Those are just what resonate with. Like, that's just what I'm trying to, like, say to you guys. But, like, it could really be anything for you guys, you know? Like, I'm just feeling like this Venus retrograde will finally kind of, like, change how you perceive your relationships and perceive your self-worth, and to finally urge you to move forward in your life in ways that are more luxurious and more reflective of your true worth, you know? And to finally validate feelings within you of wanting love, to be loved, and to enjoy finer things in your life, you know? Anyways, it will also help you attract better relationships, because I feel like maybe for some of you guys, you've been in a part of very toxic relationships in the past before. Obviously, that's a very another sensitive message there, so like, if it does not resonate, you know, do leave it. But I think that like, for a lot of the things that I have talked about in this pile in regards to like the use of like things to unhealthily cope, I don't feel as if though like that's exclusive to all of you. It could even just be people around you, you know? But I feel like a lot of those things are going to be ending, and a lot of these people that have brought you like shadows into your life or cast as shadows in your life will be removed. Some cards for pile 4. Some cards for pile 4. Oh yeah, I'm seeing it now. Oh my gosh, it's like, okay, these cards want to come out. And so does this one. Wow, you guys got a lot of these. Just pulling some tea leaf cards. But yeah, I see the message very clearly now. But we have, for you, we have box. You will receive a gift. We have crown. Honor and respect will come to you. Broken wishbone, wish will not be granted. Rooster, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. Wall, misunderstanding. Crib, birth or conception of a child or enterprise. Wishbone, a wish is granted. Interesting. Horseshoe, good luck. And barrel, you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. The message makes a lot more sense now, you guys. With the barrel card and the broken wishbone, I'm feeling like there's something in your life that maybe you wanted and you were maybe pushing towards and you were working very hard for. But I feel like not only has what you've been wanting lost its luster, but now maybe you feel like you have wasted time or something of that nature, you know? It's like when you save up to buy something and then you like buy it and it's like not what you thought it was and now you're kind of like, oh, you know? Or when you like buy a membership. And like the reason I'm using like finances as like, because I just feel like it's just such an easy metaphor to present, especially with like Venusian themes. But obviously apply it however it resonates with you, pile 4. Take the message in whatever way you feel comfortable doing so. But with the rooster card, I do want to say that that card kind of stuck out to me because I feel like that kind of references these unhealthy relationships or people that kind of maybe belittle you in order to make themselves feel bigger, you know? Just know that I think that you guys know that very well. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. And I think that this is kind of a moment where you're finally purging that. On top of that, like I was saying, the broken wishbone and the barrel card makes me feel like there's something in your life that you feel like you have wanted, but now you no longer want it anymore, or something is being blocked from you. Not because like the universe is like bullying you or something, but more so in a way that something even better is coming your way, especially with the box card. And I don't want this to be a cliche reading of like, oh, like the universe is blocking this because it's making room for something even better. But it's true, pile 4. Like, I'm here to tell you firsthand, like, there's something even better that will take the place of something that you were preparing for, that you thought you wanted, honestly. And I feel like maybe you guys have like codependency will be brought up because it will make you realize that maybe you're clinging onto something simply because you feel like it's achievable, but rather something that you thought was unachievable is actually going to come to the forefront and be presented to you. And I'm feeling like if you keep attaching yourself or keep clinging onto what you thought was originally achievable, then like it will just cause a lot more pain, you know? It makes me think of like you be with someone just because it's convenient, or you like sell yourself short just because you feel like it's more easier, you know? It's easier to like attach yourself to something that is truly not your like self-worth, as opposed to like aiming for something that you want, you know? Sometimes all that we feel we can achieve is so different from what we actually want, to a point where we feel like what we want is like not a thing, you know, or not like we don't deserve it, you know? But honestly, I'm feeling like this Venus retrograde will help, like it will restore so many feelings of worthiness within you. Oh my gosh. This card just like fell out. So many cards keep falling out. Alright. I also think it's interesting because like we have a lot of pink here with the rose quartz in this tarot deck. So I do think that self-love will take the forefront, and this is definitely a message that you have been feeling for a while now, but I just think that I'm confirming a lot of things for you. Anyways, messages for pile 4 in regards to Venus retrograde. Messages for pile 4 in regards to Venus retrograde. Oh, that card wants to come out. Oh my gosh, the 10 of Cups has been coming on so many piles. So yeah, for you we have 10 of Cups, Queen of Cups, 5 of Swords, 5 of Cups, and then the 4 of Swords. And on the bottom of the deck we have the Lovers. Yeah, pile 4. If you guys have been in an unhappy relationship, or if you feel like there are people in your life that are unhealthily attached to you or something, basically any toxic relationship, any unhealthy relationship is coming to the forefront to either be purged or to be called out. Queen of Cups, 10 of Cups, you're a beautiful person, pile 4. Like, you're emotionality is not something to be trifled with, especially within your relationships. The way you're willing to give to people and nurture and care for others is truly unmatched. And I honestly kind of feel like weird because like I just feel like this reading's been so harsh. Definitely the harshest out of all the piles. But I feel like it's just because like maybe some of you have been putting others before you, or maybe you have just been feeling like you don't deserve to put yourself forward or something of that. Just something about like your self-perception and whatever you deem as a true reflection of your self-worthiness, you know? And I feel like with the Four of Swords, Five of Cups, and Five of Swords, you guys have been doing a lot of thinking. You guys have been really in your head, and you guys have been considering a lot of things in your life because you're starting to see your self-worth and you're starting to understand like what it is that you want and what would truly fulfill you and make you feel better, you know? And I'm here to say right here and right now, Pile 4, like you guys are really about to move into a new era of your life that just like it's giving breakfast at sunset. Like that is the best way to describe it. It's giving wholesomeness. It's giving living in the moment. It's giving hope. It's giving starting the day off the right foot. Did I say sunset? I meant sunrise. Or what did I even say? Like the morning? Ciao. Anyways, but I just want you to know, Pile 4, this Venus retrograde, at first it will be uncomfortable. And I don't mean that to scare you because I think that you've already been feeling it. Anything that makes you feel some sort of way, just know that, like, for example, if I say like oh, like you're going to be uncomfortable, that's something that you're already feeling, not something that's going to be coming upon you, you know? But like whatever you're feeling right now is essentially coming to an end along with things that you originally thought were meant for you, because those things that were meant for you are not meant for you because they are not a reflection of your self-worth and they don't do your goodness any justice. And this Venus retrograde, I just want to say, take all the time in the world you need to process your feelings because your existence is truly precious and that you really are something so beautiful and something so good. Because honestly, like I keep thinking of this one song and one of the lyrics is, all I wanted to be is something so good. Just know that that is what it is. Like you are going to be stepping into a part of your life, and I don't think it's grandeur that you seek. I don't think you seek anything crazy like or amazing, you know. I just feel like all you want is to feel good and to feel better and to feel relaxed and to feel comfortable, stability, familiarity, and beauty. And when the new romantic cycle begins, that's exactly what's coming towards you, and in ways that you probably don't realize. And I feel like once you start implementing them into your life, it will just attract so many better relationships, but at the cost of you leaving things behind. I'm feeling like the quote of like your old life, like your new life will cost you your old one. I'm just going to sum up your reading, Pile 4, by saying that this Venus retrograde is definitely going to call you out, but in an act of love, because you need to stop participating in behaviors and in relationships and in friend groups and any situation that is not making you feel good and not making you feel understood and not making you feel like what you want is achievable, especially in regards to family and anything related to children and relationships. And just know, Pile 4, that if you feel like something is not working out in your life, don't force it into your life, because truthfully, you're too good of a person to have to fight so hard for something that is rightfully yours. So just know that something more beautiful is coming in, and Venus retrograde will change your luck, and it will essentially kind of recalibrate your luck, you know, and it will present you a lot of perspectives and a lot of new feelings of worthiness and love in the form of getting rid of people that you truly understood, getting rid of people that don't treat you right, you know. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, when they're gone, you will now realize, oh my gosh, like they did that to me. That was so messed up, you know. Like I feel like when you're in the midst of a toxic relationship, like, or a toxic situation, you don't realize how toxic it is until you get out of it, you know. And I'm feeling like above all else, Pile 4, you will be removed from situations where love cannot grow in the ways that cater to you and make you feel loved and beautiful and happy. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially since I've never done a reading like this before for you guys. And if you'd like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which is linked down below in the description box below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye.